Bizarre Brain Comics. Yee-haw! Whoa, 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 there, nightmare. Yee-haw! Ha-ho! Ha! 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 Howdy there, partner. Oh, I am the Trigger Kid. Come on, my trigger ain't working. Ooh, and I'm here for Bizarre Brain Comics. And that means I'm here to tell you tales of the Wild West that never was. Yee-haw! Come on. Caps don't work worth a damn anymore. Ooh, popped. Okie dokie. As I said, I am the Trigger Kid. And this is June. And that means June on the Range. Is that you don't know what June on the Range is? Well, that is a book reading event started by Michael K. Vaughan on his BookTube channel, which they read and talk about Westerns. And Michael K. Vaughan it's a good channel. I recommend it because he also talks about comic books as well. So, doing my little bit for June on the Range. We're going to got a stack of Westerns here, but they're not regular floppy comics. These are trade paperbacks, hardback, stuff like that. Mostly compilations of the floppies. So we're going to start looking here, going way back, at least the story is, to the French and Indian War. From Marvel Comics, James Fenimore Cooper's Last of the Mohicans. Trade paperback. Guess this is from Marvel. Is the compilation of I think it was 8 issues of the classic series. I never saw any of the floppies, and I guess they got a whole series of other classic novel adaptations. But this is the classic James Fenimore Cooper's Last of the Mohicans, one of the Leatherstocking tales, originally published in 1826. So it takes place before it was written before most of the other events in these fictitious westerns ever take place. So some great artwork. This is by Roy Thomas and Steve Kurth. Some great action and adventure. Ooh, and look at some of the beautiful artwork. And Last of the Mohicans is one of my favorite books and one of my favorite movies. If you're familiar with the Daniel Day-Lewis movie, it's one of my favorites. Some great stuff in there. Even though this is a lot closer to the book, I actually prefer the way they did it for the movie. They changed the order of some of the scenes and combined scenes together. And was a little more historically accurate. Okay, then here we go. Marvel Comics, The Essential Rawhide Kid. Rawhide Kid. Ooh, Volume 1. I don't think they ever did a Volume 2. And I'm very disappointed that they had never done any more of the Westerns. And of course, this is the Lee Kirby Rawhide Kid, reprinting of Lee Kirby Rawhide Kid books from the early 60s, which had been reprinted several times in various Western titles before. After that, and this also includes the unrelated backup stories, as well as the text stories that were in the books. So, like here, the Ghostly Prince, and a lot of fun. I love the Rawhide Kid. But actually, I liked Kid Colt and Two Gun Kid probably. The differences are marginal, but at least I kind of liked Kid Colt a little better, and I would like to have seen it. But I guess Rawhide Kid was the most popular one because he's the one that kept coming back in miniseries, even after the westerns had kind of croaked. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then we have Marvel Westerns. This is a hardback book. I forgot to mention. I think I've shown some of these to you in a different context, and I know I've shown this in at least once before. But it's a hardback book, reprinting a miniseries that Marvel had done of the Marvel Westerns, which featured new stories of some of their older classic characters, and then here's some great artwork, different various creators, various characters, and then also, of course, it's not gonna, of course, each one is one of the new. There we go, and then also has reprints of some of the classic Western stories. Like Rawhide Kid there, and here we got Jonah Hex from DC Comics. This is a graphic novel compilation of the Jonah Hex Two Gun Mojo miniseries by Joe R. Lansdale and with art by Tim Truman. And this is so good. They did such a good job. And this is, I guess, part of 3 stories that they worked together on of supernatural stories with Jonah Hex. Even though Jonah Hex was never in the supernatural realm except in these stories, but that's the aspect that they picked up when they made that very disappointing Jonah Hex movie several years ago, and it had nothing to do with the Jonah Hex either version. It just had some of the supernatural elements, and I think the movie would have done a lot better had it been written by Joe R. Lansdale. And of course, because Tim Truman is great at this kind of artwork, so you can see some of his good stuff there. And then of course we have DC Showcase featuring Jonah Hex, 500 pages of cool, rough riding, rowdy Western action. Jonah Hex from the beginning, Volume 1. Again, I don't think they ever did a Volume 2. So this reprints Jonah Hex from the beginning in All-Star Western number 10 through, I think it was Weird Western 33. So it was from 72 to 76. And then, of course, has also features some of the non-related backup stories, as well as, clear in the back, of course, Tony DeZuniga, primary artist, but not sole artist. It did great. This was a turn in the Western comics at DC, and in the back part goes back and reprints the stories of continuing characters from All-Star Western before his appearance, who didn't last but a few issues before they went bye-bye. It was Outlaw and Two Gun Kid, Billy the Kid. And here we go. Something really cool is Rio by Doug Wildey. Of course, Doug Wildey goes way back. He did Outlaw Kid for a bit for Marvel in the late 50s, early 60s. And it's some really, really great stuff. Did a lot of stuff, work for Hanna-Barbera and television and the like. And this is his own creation. Wrote and drew it. Great cover painting. And you look at the back here. Great cover painting of his character Rio. And of course, this is not a single storyline, but it is reprinting the stories. And I think this was originally done for a European audience, for European publication. And some really marvelous work, and much more realistic Western stories. Then we go to something that's not realistic at all. Ha ha! Lucky Luke. This is, of course, a humor title. Lucky Luke. This is from Belgian creators, Maurice and Goscinny, and do they're Belgian, and it's for a European audience. This is was printed in this American version, printed in about 85, I think it was, or so. But the story in it is from 71, 72. They had a whole bunch over several years of Lucky Luke, a bunch of animated, which I've never really seen, a bunch of animated movies based on these, and they even had I think it was 2 live action Lucky Luke movies. This one features Ma Dalton. I did an episode on a different Lucky Luke story. Some great humorous cartoon art style. And here's Lucky Luke, the fastest gun. He was faster than his own shadow. Lucky Luke, here's to you, Lucky Luke. Then we go. Yes, it still would be considered a Western. Zorro, El Zorro. This is from a little graphic novel. This is 3 of, I don't know how many. They're not, I had 1 or 2 others as well. I'm going to find them. From Paper Cuts. Intended for a younger audience. And the style is art style is more heavily stylized. Some great printing and coloring work, and just because of the material, I'm not thrilled with the stylization, and it is as kind of a manga style to it. But as I recall, is well written and overall produced. Written by this is by Don McGregor and Sidney Lima, and this is was from the. About, I think it was 2006 or 2008, somewhere like that. El Zorro. I love Zorro. You might say, well, that's not really Western. Well, it's took place in the 1820s. It's a swashbuckling kind of Western stuff. Because there's horses and guns and... Yeah. And so it is classified as a Western. But then we have El Zorro again. This is the complete classic adventures by Alex Toth, Volume 1. I don't have any of the other volumes. This is, of course, Zorro. This is reprinting Alex Toth's Walt Disney Zorro. But surprisingly, I was real surprised. This is in the from the late 90s, and I was real surprised. This is from Image, an Image publication. But you can see some of the great Alex Toth art here. Alex Toth, great dark, almost like Rembrandt. But he was strongly influenced by Milton Caniff, who was known as the Rembrandt of the comics. And some great action. And there are short stories, 6 or 8-page stories. And then we're going to finish this up with a book, Comics of the American West. And I did a whole episode on this. I think it was episode number 155, probably almost 2 years ago, on this book. It's because it is a book by, what's his name, Maurice Horn, just about Western comics, both American and European. So it talks about all these different features, some of the artists, writers and artists and creators, some straight and humorous. And that is a good look at a bunch of Westerns for June on the range. So I do want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Are you a Western fan like I am? Let me know. What Western stuff do you like the best? Do you like Western comics, movies, books? You name it. But whatever it is, you let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.